Thank you. I now recognize Mr. Griffith from Virginia for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Dr. Daszak. I'd like to walk through an inconsistency we have identified in this investigation in your testimony. I would request unanimous consent to move 3 documents into the record. The first is the draft progress report dated May of 2020. The second, the Year 5 progress report submitted to NIH in August of 2021. And the last is an excerpt from Dr. Daszak's transcribed interview of November.
Without objection.
The first document is an earlier draft of the Year 5 progress report that was originally due in September of 2019 that was sent to the committee by an anonymous whistleblower. You should have that now. That's this document here.
Yep.
It appears that this version was updated on, or last updated on May 26, 2020, which was about 7 months after it was due, and about 16 months before you would submit it, or submit a document, to the NIAID in August of 2021. I'll also note that we have repeatedly requested the drafts of these progress reports from EcoHealth, but the drafts, including this one, have not been produced. In the version you submitted to NIAID in August of 2021, in talking about transference from bats to humans, you stated, or the report stated, there may be as many as the low hundreds of thousands to over a million people infected each year in South China and Southeast Asia. This statement has since been repeated in multiple news articles for the proposition that direct bat-to-human spillover of viruses is a common occurrence. It has been used to bolster the case for natural origin and may even be responsible, as you said, for the intelligence community having low to moderate assurance that it started in the lab. But the May 2020 draft of Year 5 progress report reached a different conclusion with the same data. This is still your people. And you stated in that one, quote, the low rate of seropositivity observed in this study indicates that the bat coronavirus spillover is a rare event. Rare or up to a million? So as of May 2020, EcoHealth was in the opinion that a spillover of bat viruses into people was a rare event, but when you finally sent this report to NIH, the report stated that spillovers infected potentially 1 million people each year in South China and Southeast Asia. Now, in addition to the draft being materially different, this May 2020 draft also contradicts your transcribed interview testimony. During the interview, I specifically asked you, and I asked you directly, whether the 2021 version of the Year 5 progress report was, quote, in all respects the same as, end quote, the one that was supposed to be submitted in September of 2019. You testified from the point of view of the work that this committee is concerned about in SARS-related coronavirus. Yes. Then we had a discussion about the fact that there's a couple of committees involved. And you repeated, yes, that there was nothing significant that wasn't in the draft that would have then been put in the final version. That's your testimony under oath. In light of this May 2020 draft of the progress report, I don't know how to interpret your answer to me in the transcribed interview as anything other than untruthful. You changed perhaps one of the most important findings, the likelihood of bat coronavirus spillover into humans from very rare in early 2020 on a report that was due in September of 2019 to possibly over 1 million spillovers annually in Southeast Asia and Southeast China alone by late 2021. There's no new data. There's no new paper cited. Just a complete 180 reversal on the conclusion. Now, Dr. Daszak, this is uncomfortable, but we must know. And my assumption is that you either had communications with Dr. Fauci or others at NIAID, you had outside pressure, or you realized that your company could be liable, and so changes were made either to satisfy NIAID or others in the scientific community or to cover up potential liability. Which one is it?
Well, there's a fourth possibility, isn't there, that we'd conducted scientific research in the period between the initial drafting of that report and updating it.
And if that were true, hang on, if that were true, Dr. Daszak, why didn't you tell me that in November of last year? It's been less than 6 months. I gave you the opportunity to say that there was a change in your initial drafts and later drafts. You didn't bring up this fourth possibility then. You didn't say, well, we did some additional research and we made a change on the number of times that a bat virus might spill over into the population in Southeast Asia or South China. You didn't give me that. I gave you the chance. I didn't ask it as I was looking for facts. I wasn't trying to cross-examine you at that time, and yet you didn't tell me the truth. And today you come up with a new theory as to why that might have happened. But that's not what you gave me in November. Isn't that true? You didn't give me that in November. Isn't that true? Yes or no?
My theory...
Is it yes or no that you told me something wrong and false in November?
My theory has a substantial advantage over yours in that it's
No, my theory is you didn't tell me the truth. You're now coming up with a theory that, as to why your reports in the leaked 2020 report and your later 2021 report are different. I'm asserting and I'm asking you, you told me something wrong in November if your fourth theory is correct. Isn't that true?
I believe I'm seeing this for the first time. You never showed this to me on the record.
I didn't have it in November, but I asked you if there was a substantial change.
If you shown me this, I would have explained it then. If you let me speak, I'll explain it now.
Well, I
can give you the answer to your question.
I'm going to answer it for you because here's the problem.
Okay.
I asked you specifically if there would be any substantial or significant changes from what you would have had. You said you tried to send the report in earlier. There was something wrong with the site and so forth. And I said, but that report that was due in September, when you tried to send it in September of 2019, were there any substantial differences? You said that there weren't, that they would be substantially the same.
And that is still correct.
And you don't think this is a significant change?
No.
Wow.
I will
explain
why.
I practiced in the criminal courts for many, many years, and I will just tell you, if you were my client, I would tell you that dog won't hunt, and the judge ain't going to believe that. I yield back.
Thanks.